nothing screams party time like a cool running hat. And that is not a great intro. That's all I could think of. Today's prompt is party. And for the first time in the last many days, I actually feel like I have a good thing I can do for party, because I've been keeping a secret from everybody. It's nothing too crazy. I have some pretty cool minis that I bought. Actually, the owl I already mentioned in the nocturnal episode. And this is the only one that I actually already have. I need to clean him up a bit with a blade before I paint him. I also have, which I'm excited about, a bunch of ravens. Got some perched, some in flight, and then the exact same spread of those minis, but with like branches holding them down. And I think these are really cool. Or are they ravens or crows? I guess they're crows. I think they're crows. I take back what I said about ravens. I am realizing that the owl is way smaller than these, like scale-wise. I thought I got 32 millimeter scale for both of these, but I could be wrong. I, say it with me, am not super worried about it. They're not going to be next to each other. It's fine. It is kind of disappointing, but it's fine. And lastly, the one I'm the most excited about is this guy. This is our gravedigger. He's got a really kind of spooky face. He's got a lot of cool details, a little coin bag, shovel, and a bag with a little bit of like skeleton bones coming out, little hand kind of, I think that's what that is, like grasping at it, like it's about to climb out. I will say it did arrive broken, which was a bummer. Or actually, even kind of worse than that. It had been glued together, so it had been broken. That's paint, I swear. I'm not a gross, dirty person. It had been broken, clearly, like the person who printed it had broke it, and then they glued it back together, and they did kind of a bad job. But like, I don't want to call anyone out. I'm not gonna write a bad review. Some of you might disagree with that, but if I was to order a million things from this person and they were all broken, maybe I would write a bad review just to like get people to know, or just to like get them to do a better job. But generally, I'm non-confrontational, and I think that people are just trying their best, so I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, that's kind of a bummer, but I'm so excited to get these in. Really should have checked the scale. Oh well, there are also giant bones in this cemetery, so who cares? I'm gonna clean these up, then I'm gonna bust out my airbrush, prime these black, do a heavy white dry brush, then finally I'm going to speed paint them and get them into the diorama. I'm super excited. I'm not like an expert mini painter. It's not something I do a ton, but I do love watching people paint minis, and I love painting minis. I do like doing it. I just feel like I need to improve my skills a lot. I think currently I am much better at terrain and diorama making, but I want to get better at both painting minis and kit bashing minis. So I'm gonna start doing more of that on this channel, I think. Starting with this guy. I should also add, I haven't bought a lot of things on Etsy, like miniatures or resin printed things or FDM printed things. This is like probably like 5 or 6, including these 3 things. So maybe I am actually being too hard on this guy. Let me know. Maybe this is like kind of normal. It was not very expensive, so. Alrighty, the airbrushing is done. I also, off camera, did a pretty heavy white dry brush, which I think I mentioned earlier, because I'm going to do some speed painting. I just love how this phase looks though. Like these look so rad. Here is the gravedigger and one of the little birds. The other birds fell off my little stick. Here those are. Here's the owl. And the other bird, crow, raven thingy. It's like definitively one of those two. I just can't remember. It's a crow, right? Crows have like the big beaks. And I would have bought a crow for this because crows are spooky. But ravens are spooky too. So I'm going to bust out my speed paints. Let's get these birds painted. And don't forget Creepy Man. Literally just got done painting my brushes after painting up this guy, these two guys. I was already preparing like in my head what I was gonna say to camera about the paint job. And you know, the main thing I was gonna say was that I'm pretty satisfied with this. It's just speed paints, it's nothing super sophisticated. It's just gonna be one little part of the diorama. Doesn't need to be perfect. And while I still do feel that way, like that is all still technically true and reflective of my opinion for the most part, I am feeling like I just can't help myself. I need to add a little bit of highlighting, a little bit of maybe cleaning up the face if I can, just a little bit of extra zhuzh to really make this guy pop. Like, he's pretty muddy. I know I can do better. And on the one hand, it's like, does it matter for this? But it's Junktober, you know? Things gotta be spooky, crisp, beautiful, and I can do better. So, cue another montage where I'm adding some nice highlights. And yeah, still not super sophisticated. I don't paint minis that often, but I really enjoy doing it and trying to improve. So, hopefully this will be passable. At the very least, it'll definitely be better than this muddy guy here. Okay, yeah, update. I'm so glad I did this. Like, look, this is still pretty rough, but is the level that I'm going for, so I'm not gonna take this any further. Well, no, sorry, I am gonna take this further, but I mean on the jacket. All I've done so far is the jacket and the pants, and it looks so much better. Like, it's a little sketchy, it's not like that crazy, but it doesn't look like speed paints either. It looks like I painted it with, you know, normal paints, which I did. I just used the speed paints as a base. I have a long way to go with my mini painting, but I'm really glad I decided to clean this up just a little bit because I already think this looks so much better. That was like the main section of the mini. So now I'm just gonna touch up the face, probably the green shirt. I might touch up the gray bits, but I'm not as worried about those. Probably just the face and the green shirt. Final update on the gravedigger. Yeah, love it. So glad I went in with extra detail. I was this close to not doing it, but I'm always happy when I decide to not be lazy and do the thing that I love to do. Like, it doesn't make any sense that I decide to not do it. Anyway, I did kind of botch his face when I tried to add some highlights. Then I went in with just more of that speed paint and washed it, and that time it actually looked good enough, at least better than it did the first time. It was a little too muddy the first time. I didn't really do that much to the crow. I added a tiny little bit of gray highlights, but like literally I spent 10 seconds on that one. But these are now good to glue into the diorama. I'm gonna get that going, and I'm gonna glue in the other two birds and paint those in place. So here's that. Okay, so we've painted the gravedigger. We've painted one of the birds. But now we need to find a place for the other two birds because, like I told you, I'm going to paint them on the tree. Not sure exactly where I want to glue these, but I'm thinking the owl has to be in the tree because that was kind of the whole thing about the tree was nocturnal. Kind of thinking like right up at the tippity top because why not, right? Am going to get my super glue and my nemesis, Bob Smith Industries accelerator. I say nemesis just because I think this stuff smells awful, awful, awful. But I did see a tip from Jeremy over at Black Magic Craft who was using some of this, I think. And by tip, he didn't say anything about this. He just did it. I saw him do it on screen where he took this cap out and kind of let some of it drip off the end. Not only means I don't have to spray this greasy stuff everywhere, but then I don't really smell it as much. So definitely gonna start doing that. Oh, thank God. It was not clogged on the inside. It was just caked all around the outside. Crisis averted. Place the owl deep in the super glue. Get some of that accelerator. I can still smell it, but it's less gross when it's not all greasy on my hands. That looks awesome. Definitely gonna paint him up, but first let me also glue in the other bird. I'm thinking I want this guy either on a post, like around the fencing, or on a gravestone. Yeah, I like gravestone. And this is the gravestone I've picked. And a wee bit of accelerator. Boop. Cool. That's actually exciting to see some of the minis. I haven't made any dioramas with minis in them, like glued into the scene. I don't think. And I feel like I'm kind of messing up by not doing that. It adds so much life. Now I'm gonna paint those up, probably pretty simply like I did the other two. I'll show you a little bit of that footage, but it's gonna be pretty much the same process as I painted the bird in the previous part of the video.
that's gonna do it for Party. Thank you so much for watching. I really liked this episode. I definitely want to paint more minis on this channel. It's not going to become a mini painting channel, mostly just because that's not where my primary passion and interest lies, but I definitely want to include more minis in my dioramas and maybe occasionally paint up some special ones as a full episode. Let me know below if you would be interested in that, but don't worry, the dioramas and terrain making are not going anywhere. Make sure you come back tomorrow to see where this series goes next. We are so close to the end. I really appreciate everyone's kind words and comments and just general support. So thank you again so much. And I'll see you tomorrow.